Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Welcome back for another crafty venture. Today I am playing with what I call the watercolor stencil technique, and I will be using all Lavinia stencils. So I learned this technique from my sweet friend Amy over at the A Colorful Life design team family. If anyone has done this technique before, I've never seen it. So when Amy paired stenciling with watercoloring, my heart just said swoon, and I knew that I had to try it myself. So as you can see, I have just jumped right in. Pixie Spray is a must, or some type of temporary adhesive. You have to have that to hold your stencil down firmly and securely to your paper. Otherwise you're going to have a mess, because it's just going to bleed all up under the stencil. So you really need to make sure that there's that secure connection between the stencil and the paper. Now I have used a variety of watercolor papers. I labeled them, I was careful about it, I thought I was going to do a trial, and I got so caught up in the painting technique, I totally forgot about the papers. I used from I think it's Artist Loft from Michaels, all the way up to my Arches cold press. First time I've ever used the Arches cold press, and I don't even know at this point which one it was. So really love this technique, got totally caught up in it. You can see that I'm not really blending my colors there so much, but in the end they look really blended. It's not, and at least in my opinion, not harsh, abrupt edges where the colors meet. I think it looks great. A couple things to keep in mind. Like I said, Pixie Spray is a must, or some type of temporary adhesive. I have found that stencils that have more open space on them are I don't know if I want to say more effective. I feel like I got a better result with the ones that had more open space. And then I found that layering the colors, or layering the colors. So put down some, move to another space, let it dry, go back, and then allowing the colors to pool. See how it's pooled around the edges there? That gives the most beautiful result, in my opinion. Now everybody likes different things. Maybe you want something a little bit smoother without those deeper colors around the edges of your design, but that's what I like. And then allow the paint to dry before you pull up the stencil. I think that's a must, because like I've shown before when I did my gel plates, if I don't allow the paint to dry, which is still really hard for me on the gel press, but if you don't allow it to dry, the colors just kind of whoop, slide out up under the stencil, because the stencil itself has the image which serve as pools or wells. So similar to when you're watercoloring on a heat embossed image, those raised edges of the stencil hold that color in, hold that pigment in, and if you lift it before it's dry, it's just going to go whoop and spread all over. So those are my tips. Pixie Spray, open space stencils, layering the paint, allowing it to pool, and then let it dry. So those are the main things, at least that I found. Now I got so wrapped up in this I couldn't stop. As you can see, I'm just going. So the stencils from Lavinia, from their new, at least I think it's their newest release, I've had them for a couple months now. They were gifted to me by a very dear, very generous, very precious to my heart crafty friend, and this was the first time I had to use them. Now these last two are from an older release, a previous release, and this one right here, this leafy one, my absolute favorite of all time. Lavinia Stencil. Love, love, love it. I've used it I don't even know how many times. I might have to get a replacement. But yes, so between the two that I already had and the new ones, I made a bunch. Now look at that reveal. Look at that. See how the colors have pooled and how they blended. Now the pink to yellow is a little more abrupt, but there's some green in there between the yellow and the blue. And this one got really messy. You see that? Really messy on this one, but I'm going to show you in the end. It's still beautiful. If I had just left it like that, it's beautiful, and I'll have some close-ups of that one in a bit. But I added something extra to it. I didn't get cards made out of it, but that one might be my favorite. And look at that. See again how the colors pooled and how they gradiated. I wasn't sure how that one was going to turn out because the colors were so different, but I really like it. I think it turned out beautiful. And then this one where I used my starry colors. Very pretty. I also used this one to dry emboss on the card that I made. Very pretty. They're all beautiful and unique in their own ways. So this one again, very, very pretty. I love that pop of green down in the corner. Now what I don't show is that I actually took those stencils with the paint still on them. I got them wet, I got some paper wet, and then I printed with the stencils like you've seen me do with my gel plate stencils. So I did the same thing, and I actually have a card or two. I love that. Those fall colors, oh, my heart is just like swoon. Even the fuzzy blurry mess down on the bottom, I like that. I like it. I love imperfection. So this one is not quite dry, and you can see how where the colors have pooled, it really wants to spread. It ended up staying there, but I think it's only because the edges were dry. So here's this one, and this is the card that I made with it. I think it's just happy. It's bright. It's fun. I will try to have all the different companies listed and linked below. This one I just made with the scrap, and I think it's adorable. So you can see how those colors pooled where they're deeper and richer along the edges. And again, here's another card that I made. I used the ellipsis technique. And then this one was made with the other half of that panel. I think it's very sweet. This one was made from the printing of the stencil, so kind of a ghost print, I guess you would say. And I love that soft background. I think it's sweet. So here's the one with the autumn colors. And then I used just some trash, essentially, that was packaging that I printed and stamped on. And here's another fall one. I love that scrap. It looks like an animal print. And a lot of these cards were made from bits and bobs that were just in my stash. Die cut words or images that I had already colored and cut out. And this one's actually a shaker card, and it's fall because you know my heart lives in fall. And then this one was so much fun. These cards, I love them. I love them. So cute. He's on there a little wonky, and this one was really fun. I've had a lot of comments on this one at work. And then this one as well. Use that ellipsis technique again. And so here is that stencil. I can't remember the name of this one, but it looks kind of messy, but you can see all that beautiful texture, right? Even if I had just left it there. But you know me, I can't leave well enough alone. So I took my crystal stickles and I added some ink to it, essentially, and this is the panel I have. I've not made anything out of it yet, but it's coming. So guys, this was my take on the watercolor stencil technique from my friend Amy using the Lavinia stencils. Let me know what you think downstairs. Is this something you would do? Is it something you'd like to see more of? I know I do a lot of very technical things. Maybe not technical, but busy. Lots of layers and things. If you want to see something a little more simple, let me know. I feel like I'm going to be going in that direction for a little while anyway. But guys, this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy. I always appreciate you spending some time with me, but for now, I'm out.